Daylighting. No, not that. This. Daylighting is a street design element that opens up the space right by a crosswalk for improved visibility, like right over here, for everyone, for drivers, cyclists, and of course, pedestrians.
Daylighting or curb extensions is an easy and safe treatment to put in at a variety of intersections, and they can be really contextually appropriate, the size, the width, the length, and where they're placed to provide all users with that extra moment to stop, think, look around, and make sure that the crossing is safe to proceed.
The other incredible thing about it is that it's one of the most cost-effective ways to improve safety.
Things like this, the bulb out, essentially they shorten the distance that people have to cross the street. This is really critical because it helps people that are a little slower, it helps kids.
When you put in these buffers, it extends the pedestrian space, which slows the turning cars. You can see how much slower they're going. This is such a huge safety feature. Look at that. That's super effective.
This intersection used to be a wild intersection. There are so many different drivers coming from all directions, but they've really done a great job shortening the crossing. So now you can see the intersection super clearly. And right across the way, there's a concrete bump out, which adds to the daylighting effect. And then right next to there is a whole city bike dock, which again, it just daylights this entire intersection.
Whoa! Hey, hey! Whoa, whoa!
We know that these deaths are preventable.
When you go to a civic association, when we field calls in this office, in our constituent office, is traffic safety. It's the #1 request that we get, and the volume is so immense, DOT can't even keep up with the pace of studies that we're requesting them to do.
We have had far too many crashes with pedestrians in this neighborhood, lives lost here and across the city. The only way we change that is by smarter and safer design. That's what daylighting does. It makes our streets safer for people and puts cars on notice that these are our streets and we want to feel safe crossing them.
I got hit by a car on January 4th on the corner of 35th Avenue and 78th Street. A car was illegally parked in a bus stop, blocking the line of sight. And I believe, again, if we had universal daylighting and enforcement of that, we would have prevented the crash that involved, myself.
Painted extensions are great, but we need some physical protection like planters so that people don't park in these spots.
It's definitely important to do it right because when you see these plastic sticks, a lot of them have been run down and cars will still sometimes enter into those areas. And so when you have these granite slabs or planters, it not only beautifies the public space, but it also you can sit on it.
We can now use it for landscaping, plantings, bike corrals. We're reclaiming space that the community itself can use while at the same time saving people's lives.
New York State law currently requires all intersections to be daylit. However, New York City currently overrides this law. Why? Well, it's unclear, but many years ago they were able to find a loophole that made them exempt.
This is a really easy fix. All DOT has to do is change its rule. It doesn't need council approval, it doesn't need state legislative approval, it's already the state law.
Every corner should have daylighting in the city, and I know we always get into this push and pull over car spots and parking spots, but the bottom line is this is about saving lives.
Daylighting needs to be borough-wide. It is so integral to safe streets, and especially with all the public schools and daycares and Montessoris that we have in this neighborhood.
And I'm really proud of the folks in my community who understood that this meant sacrificing parking spaces. But when it comes down to the lives of our family, our friends, our neighbors, they were willing to do that because it's a no-brainer. We need to get this done.
Things are changing. This past year alone, 14 community boards have passed resolutions supporting universal daylighting, representing over 2 million people.
Bronx Community Board 5 was the first community board in the Bronx to pass a daylighting resolution because our community is just filled with folks who are so empathetic and care about the safety of our community members.
I'm a big supporter of daylighting. It's been shown as a way of saving many lives. I wrote a letter to the mayor and the transportation commissioner recently noting that both community boards 2 and 4 have supported daylighting.
But I'm out in Rego Park in Community Board 6. We passed a resolution unanimously calling on New York City to daylight all of our street corners, especially around schools, senior citizen centers, but actually all throughout the city.
If you're a part of a community board and want to talk about daylighting, email us at cb@openplans.org or write to your elected official. Simply click the link down below or scan this QR code.
The folks at Open Plans reached out to me to ask if CB5 would be interested in hearing a presentation on daylighting, and they presented. And folks at that meeting, including our board chair, were totally in support.
I think about those children in Elmhurst and in Corona who were killed or critically injured because of the lack of great street designs that we need to see more of. It's not rocket science. Invest in the infrastructure, do daylighting.
We know that they're successful in highly dense urban environments like New York's because we've got some friends across the river who have implemented this treatment widely and have completely eliminated fatal crashes at those intersections in the last 7 years.
I am really excited to see the groundswell of support across the city for universal daylighting. We want our streets to be safer for people, and the way we're going to do that is through measures like daylighting.